deciding what S&C training to do with young athletes, there's lots of things to consider. We consider their age, their growth and their maturation stages. If you look at long-term athlete development models, there are different suggestions of what modalities of training that you should be doing at certain stages in growth and maturation. We also consider their training age, how much experience they have in strength and conditioning. Typically for the young athletes, they have low levels of experience. So lots of the training is really about learning how to train. It's about lots of physical literacy, strength training techniques, movement training patterns, general coordination patterns that you would need for certain sports. And so we try and develop a more whole approach so that we're developing a whole athlete, not just a specific athlete for a certain sport. I'm wary of early specialisation training in S&C. In tennis specifically, it's a very highly skilled sport, so the players have to play lots of tennis from a very young age in order to develop the skills they need to be competent at the sport. The S&C training is designed to help them play the sport, but more crucially, it's designed to balance the imbalances created by playing lots of sport in a young developing body. Again, it's about developing the whole athlete rather than just a tennis player. There are many challenges when working with young talented athletes, ranging from not having enough time with them because their schedules are so busy and they have to do homework and they have to go to school and often do other sports, to also having such fixed schedules that you can't really listen to the body on the day. So for example, they'll turn up to you at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday and they may be absolutely exhausted, and what you want to do on that day is send them home to rest or do an active recovery session, but that might be the only session you have with them in that week, so you end up doing a session with them even though perhaps it's not the best time to do it. Also with school timetabling, often the schools will let them out during the day so that they can train, but that comes at a cost of being expected to play in other sports for the school teams. So it's very difficult to manage load because the player is doing so many things during the week, you can't always keep an eye on everything that they're doing. My advice for those wanting to work with elite athletes is really to get some experience working with various age groups so that you can be really clear on which age group you really want to work with. It's very different training young juniors to older teenagers to young adults and above. The programming is very different and the type of coaching is very different. So when you're working with very young juniors, there's lots of teaching because they need to really learn the skills and the shapes for going forwards. Whereas when you're working with more adult-based athletes, then they will already have done the learning and it's more a case of programming for gains. It's also worth thinking that when you are working with young athletes, you're basically working with the parents too, and you've got to coach the parents and be prepared to work outside the normal working hours of 9 to 5. S&C in elite athletes is a vocation more than a job. The skills and qualities you need to work in strength and conditioning are varied. So it's important that you have the skills to work out the demands of the sport of the athlete that you're working with. It's important also that you can work just as well in large groups as you can in one-to-one. And also it's essential to have good communication skills. Sometimes you are there to train them, to push and motivate them. Sometimes you are there to teach them, to enable them to learn new skills using their preferred learning style. And sometimes you're just there to listen because the athlete can teach you so much.